Welcome to Coding with Confidence. My name is Nicole Shoemaker, and I will be sharing some information with you today about the Scratch coding platform. On this slide, you'll see my contact information. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Today we'll be meeting live, but you're also welcome to send me an email anytime. This Google slide presentation is where we're going to be working from today for the entire work time when we're talking about Scratch. There is a tiny URL to get to this presentation, and I believe this link was also provided to you in D2L. Before we get started talking about Scratch, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I spent 20 years teaching 6th grade. And then about 3 years ago, I became a STEM special area teacher at Donegal Intermediate School. I am a mom of one 10-year-old gymnast and 2 furry kids, Odin, a Norwegian Elkhound, and Coffee, a French Bulldog mix. I have a master's degree in education from Penn State and a master's degree in science education from Lebanon Valley. I also completed my tech specialist certification with Harrisburg University of Science and Technology, and I am almost finished with my STEM endorsement at Millersville. Also, for about 13 years, I've been running technology and engineering camps at Millersville for students, and we've done everything from coding and claymation to forensics, and this year I'll be presenting a drone camp. This is my 3rd year presenting at Coding with Confidence, and I'm excited to share the Scratch coding platform with you. Our agenda today looks something like this, which I know might be a little bit different than what you've been doing with some of the other presenters, but this seems to flow pretty well for what I have planned today. So from 8 to 9, we'll be doing a little bit of getting to know each other and getting to know Scratch asynchronously. From 9 to 10, you'll do some Scratch exploration, look at some tutorials, also asynchronously. At 10 o'clock, we'll meet live in Google Meet, and the link is right in that agenda slide. At 12 o'clock, you'll have your lunch break. From 1 to 2:30, you will do some exploration about robots asynchronously. You'll have a break from 2:30 to 3, and at 3 o'clock, we'll meet live to wrap up our day. One of the first things I'd like you to do this morning is to share with me your level of experience with Scratch. If right now you're thinking to yourself, Scratch? What's Scratch? Put your name and a shape in that box. Or maybe you're thinking, I've heard of it, but that's about it. Or I've used some Scratch, or I'm a Scratch pro. So you'll just put a shape with your name in the box that best represents you, and that will give me a good idea of where we're starting from. And I fully realize that many of you may not have any experience at all with Scratch, and that's totally fine. Between 8 and 9, we have a little bit of a to-do list, and that is to watch the video you're currently watching, and also to watch the videos on slide 6 and slide 7. The first video is short, it's about 1.5 minutes, and it will give you kind of the user's perspective on Scratch. And then the second video is a little bit longer, maybe 3 minutes or so, and it will get down to some of the directions about how to use Scratch. As I said, I'd like you to answer the question on slide 5. And then I'd like you to create a Scratch account. Usually you need to enter an email address and you have to verify your email, so it'll take you a couple of steps to get your account created. Then I'd just like you to poke around a little bit in Scratch. Look at some projects that other people have shared, look at the tutorials that are built into Scratch, maybe try and begin a new project and just play around a little bit. You're welcome to try to search up some tutorials online. One of the things you'll find out about Scratch is that it is an entire community of users. And so you can Google just about anything. And as long as you put it in the framework, how do I blank on Scratch, you will more than likely find a tutorial video on how to do it. So how do I create a new character on Scratch? How do I make my character jump on Scratch? How do I change a background on Scratch? There are videos for just about anything you can think of that you would want to do. Then, to finish up your 8 to 9 time slot, I would like you to put some discussion type questions into slides 9 through 12. So it says, after looking around a bit, what questions do you have? So anything that immediately comes to mind, you could put, and I put 2 slides in case we run out of room on the first one, and feel free to add more numbers as needed. Or even more slides if needed. And then I also added, what do you hope to gain from today's Scratch instruction? So if you have questions about, how is this useful in a certain content, or how is this useful with a certain grade level, or I saw that Scratch can do this, or Scratch can't do this. So drop all those questions in there, and that will give us a good kind of discussion starter for our 10 o'clock live meeting. Okay. When you finish your 8 to 9 to-do list, I have a to-do list for you starting at 9 o'clock. So the first thing is I have some more instruction style videos on using Scratch, and we'll talk about the pros and the cons and all of those kinds of things that you need to know when you're looking at a new tool. So the first thing you'll do at 9 o'clock is watch those videos. They're on slide 14 in this presentation. Then I would like you to choose one of the tutorials that are built into Scratch, and I will show you in the videos where to find those. And I'd like you just to try out your very first Scratch project. Follow the directions. They are very, very step-by-step. They tell you exactly what blocks to use, what to click on, and see what you can create. If you finish working your way through the tutorial, then use that extra time to change up the project a bit and make it your own. Add an extra character, add some movement or music, and post a screenshot and a link to your Scratch project on any of the slides numbers 20 through 24. And please remember, everybody is realizing that this is maybe your very first attempt at Scratch, so it won't be perfect, it won't be super complicated. You might spend an entire hour and you might get one character that just does one thing, and that's totally fine. If you still have time before 10 o'clock, you can go to slides 20 through 24 and check out what your classmates have created. And at the end, I also added another discussion question slide. After you've worked a little bit and other questions pop into your mind, feel free to add them here. Again, add numbers, even add another question slide if you need to. The slides where I'm asking you to post your project look like this. So just take a screenshot of what you built and or post a link to your Scratch project. The value of posting the link is that if you have movement that actually runs, then your classmates will be able to see your coding work if you give them the link. If all you post is a screenshot, we just get a still of what you built, which is fine too. And I just have a reminder at the bottom, in Scratch, before you can get the link to share with others, you have to click share and make your project essentially public, at least public to the Scratch users platform. That is your task then for 9 to 10. And then we will meet live at 10 o'clock and kind of begin our discussion of Scratch after you've had some time to gain some experience with Scratch. I will be in the Google Meet starting at 8 o'clock. So if you run into any problems, any questions, or you just like to talk live in the middle of working on your assignments from 8 to 10, feel free to pop into the Google Meet. I'll be there. My camera might not be on, but I'll be there. Just kind of pop into the meeting and let me know that you're there. I'll be happy to chat with you personally and get you started if you could use a little extra assistance. Otherwise, I will see you and talk to you all live at 10 o'clock in Google Meet, and I look forward to talking to you about Scratch and seeing what you think and what questions that you have.